Today, we are diving into 17 productivity websites that honestly punch way above their weight. We're talking about some seriously powerful, lightweight tools, a lot of them are even free, that are all designed to make your workflow faster, leaner, and just better. Okay, be honest. Does this look familiar? You've got your work account, your personal Gmail, maybe a couple of client logins, all crammed into one browser. You're constantly logging in and out, clearing your cache, and just fighting with websites that don't want to cooperate. It's this invisible, massive drain on your focus and your time. And that's really the big idea we're getting at. The solution isn't to just keep piling on more complex software. The real game changer is removing the friction at the most basic level. And that starts with the one tool you use all day, every single day, your browser. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to really define this digital work problem. Then we'll get to the foundational fix. After that, we'll build out a power stack of other awesome tools. I'll show you a blueprint to put it all together, and we'll wrap up with the single most important takeaway. So, what does this daily mess actually feel like? Well, it's cookies from one site messing up another web app. It's juggling multiple logins for the exact same service. And it's that mental whiplash from constantly switching between different projects or clients. Each one of those little interruptions just absolutely kills your momentum. Right? So if the browser is where all this chaos is happening, it's got to be the key to the solution too. And that solution really starts with a foundational tool called Sendwin. It's built on a piece of technology that completely changes how you work on the web. And that technology is the cloud browser. Now, what does that actually mean? The key difference is that absolutely nothing runs on your computer. The entire browser session happens in the cloud and it's just streamed to you. This means every single tab is its own completely separate, walled-off environment. Just let that sink in for a second. Now, you're probably thinking, wait, can I just use different browser profiles or incognito mode? Well, this slide breaks down exactly why that's not the same thing at all. See, standard profiles still run on your machine, so you risk data bleeding between sessions and you're still exposed to malware. A cloud browser gives you true, hardcore isolation. And get this, you can share a live session with a teammate without ever giving them your password. That is an absolute game changer for collaboration. So what does this actually let you do? Well, you can have all your client accounts open in different tabs side by side with zero conflicts. You can securely give a contractor access to a tool without sharing credentials. You can see how a website looks from Germany in one tab and Japan in the next. And because it's all running in the cloud, your own computer stays perfectly clean and safe. Okay, so once you have that clean, frictionless foundation locked in, all your other tools suddenly become way more powerful. So let's build out a full power stack with 16 other lightweight browser-based workhorses that just get the job done. First up, tasks, docs, and projects. You've got Notion, the all-in-one workspace. Trello for those super simple visual Kanban boards. They're just perfect for agile stuff. ClickUp is kind of the everything app that scales up with goals and more complex views. Of course, there's Google Docs, the universal language of collaboration. And Coda is really cool. It lets you build powerful little apps right inside a document. For visual thinking, Excalidraw and TLDraw are my go-tos. They're incredibly fast, they're free, and they give you that nice, informal, hand-drawn vibe for quick brainstorming. But when you need more structure, like for a proper workshop, Miro's insane library of templates is definitely your best friend. All right, to get into that deep work zone, Poma Focus is a super clean timer for working in focused sprints. Noisely is fantastic for blocking out distractions with ambient sounds. I use it constantly. And Clockify offers amazing free time tracking so you can actually see where all your hours are really going. For files, you can't get much simpler than this. Need to send a big file to someone, like right now, without making them sign up for anything? WeTransfer. It's perfect. And for your day-to-day storage, Google Drive is pretty much the default, especially if you're already in that ecosystem. And finally, we've got the helpers that work for you in the background. Zapier and IFTT are your automation powerhouses, connecting all your apps so you can stop doing that mind-numbing manual copy and paste work. And you have got to check out Perplexity. It's an AI answer engine that actually gives you sourced, cited answers. It can save you hours of research time. So we have our foundation, and we have our amazing supporting tools. But how do we actually assemble them into a system that works? The goal here is to build a focused, distraction-proof cockpit for doing your most important work. Here's what that can look like in practice. You start with Sendwin to handle all your different identities and keep them separate. You use something like Notion or ClickUp for your internal projects, and then Google Docs when you're working with people outside your team. You brainstorm in Excalidraw, you track your focus with Palma Focus, and you automate the boring stuff with Zapier. See? It's a complete, lean, but incredibly powerful system. And that leads us to the biggest takeaway from all of this. While all these little tools are great, the single most powerful productivity hack is to fix your foundation first. When you solve that browser-level friction, everything else you do becomes faster, easier, and a whole lot safer. There's this quote from the source material that just hits the nail on the head. Most productivity problems start with identity and context. It's that constant switching between identities, your work login, your personal login, your client's login. That's the real root of so many of our digital headaches. You solve for that, and a lot of other problems just disappear. And the results of taking this approach are super clear. You get speed because switching between tasks becomes instant. You get safety because you're isolating risk away from your own machine. You get simplicity with way fewer apps to install and update. And you get the ability to scale. You can add new clients or projects without creating a tangled digital mess. So let's end with this question. We spend all day, every day, inside a web browser, but we hardly ever think of it as a tool that we can truly optimize. So what if, instead of being the source of all your digital friction, your browser became your single greatest productivity asset? What would that change for you?